In real life, we have public spaces and we have private spaces. So for instance, if I go into my yoga studio and I start yelling at the top of my lungs about freedom on the internet, they are well within their rights to refuse to serve me and ask me to leave. But if I'm yelling about freedom on the internet out on a public street corner, well, I am free to continue doing so, even if there's somebody practicing yoga right next to me. It's because of public spaces that our right to free speech exists. In our digital lives, those lines aren't as clear because of the technical architecture and the financial incentive structure of the system. The shape of the internet and its popular business models has changed over time, and we've seen this pattern of walled gardens proving user demand and then being supplanted with open standards. So back in the beginning of the public internet, we accessed it through walled garden service providers. AOL, Prodigy, CompuServe, each had their own proprietary stack. And this meant that if I was an AOL user and you were a CompuServe user, not only could we not interact, but we didn't see the same content. So if a forward-thinking business owner wanted to get on the internet, well, they had to decide which walled garden they would build for, or if they would pay to build for all three. It was HTTP that gave us the web, this open space where we could all connect. And the web is open in many ways. We have a public directory, and the HTTP spec is open so that everybody knows how to ask a server for something and how that server will respond. The content itself, it's stored on a privately controlled server. So although the HTTP spec can function in a decentralized way, and did in the early days of the web, today the web has developed a sort of hub and spoke shape, because most people don't want to run their own server to share a video or a recipe. So to help the web scale, private companies built those back-end services for us. And so now the content that we post and view is indexed by a private company, and it's stored on the private company's servers. And we found ourselves back inside this walled garden model, where if I'm an Apple Music user and you're a Spotify user, I can't share a playlist with you. Walled gardens are great for proving user demand. It turns out we all love streaming content, but they are inevitably replaced by open standards. And this is because, as the inventor of the web, Sir Tim Berners-Lee, articulated so well, no matter how sweet the walled garden, the jungle outside is always more appealing in the long term. Open Index Protocol is exactly what it sounds like. It's an open indexing specification where anyone can publish, read, audit, display, or sell the records. We are on the precipice of something. We are at that moment in time when visionary companies will rise and giant companies will fall. It will all depend on how they react to blockchain and this new wave of decentralized technology. When we began working on this 5 years ago, everyone said we were crazy, and no one believed that these problems were even possible. But these issues are now coming to light. The reason that Google, YouTube, and Spotify do what they do so well is because they have the best indexes, and they leverage them to give us this integrated experience. We have Google Docs and we have Google Maps, but they are not open protocols. It's all proprietary, and they are data mining and censoring and shutting down accounts. Recently, this issue, whether platforms that function as the public square in our digital lives should be regulated like public utilities, or if they have the same rights to selective service that other private companies do, has become a very hot topic. But regulation presents its own set of problems because a trustworthy regulation and audit process for the current technical architecture would be practically impossible to implement or enforce. Open Index Protocol is the technical solution to this problem. By using blockchain and other decentralized technology, we've built an open indexing specification and worldwide database for all kinds of public records, from music and videos to property records, scientific data, and more. Platforms can then filter the data and serve it to their end users without censorship concerns and knowing that they're following the law. It's currently being used by a diverse mix of academic, government, and industry use cases. By creating these two layers, the shared data layer functions sort of like the card catalog in a library where everyone indexes their information. And then at the application layer, platforms and individuals can read, audit, display, or sell that data. And so, just like in real life, we can have both free speech and free association by defining public spaces and private spaces in our digital lives. To talk with us more about Open Index Protocol and the role it plays in giving us all a public space on the internet, find us on Twitter at Alexandria, sign up for our newsletter, or join our chat. We are living in uncertain and turbulent times, but I believe the future is bright. Sunlight is the best disinfectant, and blockchain and other decentralized technologies will bring more transparency and access to information than we have ever seen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.